This is Talk About Topeka on Gab Local TV and TV 25. This episode brought to you by Field of Greens and The Break Room. And here's your host, Chris Schultz.
Well, we're here in the Gab Local studio, and we're talking about Topeka, and we're talking about Frank Schultz, my brother, the producer here in the booth. We're really not talking. We're talking with him. Frank, how are we?
Well, normally you just talk at me, so
Yeah.
it always works out.
Well, usually you're not listening, so...
What did you say?
Exactly. My point exactly. You know, Frank, you're on Facebook. I see that all the time.
Yeah, a little bit too much, I think, on Facebook. I don't know. But
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that you see on Facebook, especially. I kind of wish we could just kind of skip over all this election stuff. But it is important that we pay attention and that people get out there and vote. I'm going to put it that way. Like, vote.
That is, it's obviously it's the thing to do. You have to do it.
You're supposed to do it. It's your expectation. So vote. Make sure you're registered and vote. Yeah, you don't have to get into, those crazy conversations with your relatives, on Facebook about it. You just have to, go exercise what you believe is in your best interests and what you believe is in the best interests of all of us. And you can't do that if you are absent from the vote. So be there and do that. But we're not going to talk about any of that political stuff because there's plenty of that going around on Facebook if you're paid attention to it. My favorite stuff, though, happens to be some of the SNL, Saturday Night Live stuff that they put on there. But yeah, you should watch that. Have you been catching up with any of that, Frank?
No, I haven't watched SNL for years. I don't really care for it.
I think if it wasn't for the fact that we have like a presidential election every, 4 years, I don't know, because they kind of have their SNL resurgence. It's like the presidential election kind of makes them relevant again, maybe.
Oh, because of all the impersonators of all of the candidates? Gotcha.
I mean, they should be, anyway. But there are some things I like to share on my Facebook page when I read something that's kind of uplifting or, encourages you to go on and make tomorrow a little bit better. I like to share that with my friends because if it worked for me, well, maybe it'll work for somebody else too. And I saw an article that was from the Huffington Post, which was 8 clear signs of a successful life that have nothing to do with money or fame. Now, Frank, I know exactly what you're thinking. You're saying, what more is there other than money and fame, right?
Well, la-di-da, right. What is there?
Now, there were several things. I just wanted to go over a few of these just because I thought, well, maybe people need a little uplifting in lieu of all the stuff that they're seeing flying around in the media that's, not so uplifting. So let's try this. So a good sign is that you quit. It says, success happens when you quit living your life to please everyone around you. Success happens when you quit listening to the noise of the world and focus on what's important to you. Success happens when you quit thinking reality is anything but what you want it to be. Quit viewing the world with the preconceived notions that you were taught growing up. Quit being realistic, quit worrying, and start living. That's one thing you can do. Another thing...
All right, well, I quit then. I just quit. I'm out of here. It's later. See ya. Bye.
Sit your butt back down there in that chair right now. There you go. I was wondering where you're going to go there. I saw you in the periphery, and I was wondering. But
you're not supposed to be able to see me up here in the booth.
I thought you were going to throw something at me.
Well, that's my next one.
So you better quit throwing things at me. Good. You try things with uncertain outcomes. All the world's most successful people had to try something with an uncertain outcome. Even if things don't go your way, you learn a valuable lesson. It's not the end of the world. You can try again and again. Success and failure are intertwined with one another. Find someone who's achieved success and you'll discover a string of failures along the way. And boy, I am a shining example of that.
Hey, you cannot learn without making mistakes. Seriously. I mean, I have learned so much by making mistakes, but
true.
I own up to it and I change it and I make it right. So that's what you have to do.
Yep. There's a bunch more in here. Again, you can read this article on the Huffington Post, 8 clear signs of a successful life that have nothing to do with money or fame. Someone has thanked you for what you've done. Now, take this as far as if you appreciate things, you should be thankful for it as well. Has anyone ever gone out of their way to thank you for your work? That's success. No matter how bad you want success for yourself, you'll never get it until you find a way to provide value to other people. Your business isn't about you, it's about your customer. Your creative work isn't about you, it's about touching others. Every time someone leaves a kind comment or sends a message thanking me for sharing with them, it gives me more motivation to keep creating. Find success by giving. That's pretty darn good advice right there.
Like, I have not done that at all in my life. So, no. I've won a lot of awards for being thanked for what I've done for the community.
Well, nobody thanks you more than you thank yourself, Frank. Good job.
Yeah, you know what? I broke my arm by patting myself on the back.
All right. How about this one? You pissed someone off. Because you believed in something, because you have a well-informed opinion that others may disagree with you, because you had the audacity to say what we're all afraid to say, successful people don't seek to maintain the status quo. When they see that systems are broken, they look for ways to change it, and they find like-minded people to help them with it. That's so true right there. You can't do it on your own. So yeah, if you want to see this, find it on the Huffington Post. You can find it on my Facebook page. Find me, like me, do all that stuff. Find Talk About Topeka's Facebook page. Frank, you've been doing some really good. I'm going to give you a compliment, which is, as this article has said, you've been doing a great job getting a lot of our posting and stuff. You've been working on the system for our website. So gablocal.tv has got a really, really great new system for putting things up there. So what we encourage people to do is when you find one of our articles, be sure to share it around with your friends because we want you to gab local, and you can do that by sharing the gabbing with your friends. So do that on gablocal.tv. Find us on Facebook, Talk About Topeka, and we'll be right back right after this.